All right, what up, y'all? It's Kurt again from Triad Hip Hop Podcast. And I'm bringing you a lyrical breakdown. This is one of my favorites, and I can't wait. So let's get to it, all right? Boom. All right, today I'm doing one of my favorites. This is from an album from the Czarface group. Now, the verse is specifically from my man Rebel INS, aka Inspektah Deck, the Wu-Tang general. You know what I mean? But he had this side group going on with Czarface. This is from when they did the compilation album with Czarface and MF Doom, and I believe the album was called Czarface meets Metalface. But either way, the song was dope, and basically I already did a breakdown on this song from MF Doom's verse, you know what I mean? But now we're gonna go in and do Inspektah Deck's verse, you know what I mean? Because he killed it. A lot of people still be sleeping on my man Inspektah Deck. I don't get it, but I'm about to show y'all why he is not to be fucked with, you know what I mean? Even to this day. To this day. So let's get into his verse right now. Rebel INS, aka Inspektah Deck, the Wu-Tang general, from Czarface meets Metalface. Let's do it.
10 Hut, officer on deck. Salute. Yeah. Bombergetting, hard head descendants, jaw head in the trenches, scar heads relentless. You came with farmers, locksmiths and fools. Czar, what's your occupation? Anytime I'm spitting, the floor rock, the spell so strong I catch hate from wizards and warlocks. Boom bap ambassador, track master, hot as African sand, moving bodies like a human trafficker. What I'm stomping to, harder than an inmate on a conjugal, launching you with rocket fuel, live at the barbecue. Rebel INS provide a spark for you, and I ain't even digging to my arsenal. Don't take it personal. You know the biz and you notice his thoughts. So much force, I'm like Yoda's twin. Fire, I break a sweat in the coldest wind. I'm bad news, they gon' notify your closest kin.
Alright, so as you heard, the shit was dope. You know what I mean? Very impressive. You know what I mean? He's a top 5 lyricist. You know what I mean? He don't get enough credit. You know what I mean? If he's not top 5, he at least top 10 for me. You know what I mean? So he always up there in at least the top 10. And you know, if you listen to the bars, you know, you can see what I'm talking about. So let's go through those lyrics real quick, and I'll break down how they hit home for me. So he said, yo, Bombergeddon, hard head descendants, jar head in the trenches, scar heads relentless. Yo, first of all, I love the slang when he said Bombergeddon, you know what I mean? Because you know the term Armageddon is supposed to be that final major war that's supposed to happen, you know what I mean, that signifies the end of the world. And he changed it to Bombergeddon, you know what I mean? Bombing the shit out of y'all with these lyrics, you know what I mean? Then he said hard head descendants, jar head in the trenches, scar heads relentless. You know what I mean? You came with farmers, locksmiths, and fools. Czar, what's your occupation? Roo. Anytime I'm spitting, the floor rock. The spell so strong I catch hate from wizards and warlocks. You know what I mean? He's saying he flexing his power right there. He like, anytime I'm spitting, the floor rocks. It's almost like an earthquake. You know what I mean? He said I catch the spell so strong, meaning, you know, I'm casting a spell. He said the spell's so strong I catch hate from wizards and warlocks. You know what I mean? So that's dope right there. Then he said, boom bap ambassador. Man, listen, if y'all, for y'all younger kids, you know what I mean, boom bap is a very important term for those people from the early days of hip hop, you know what I mean? Because it signifies the hard hitting beats with that hard bass line that you could just get busy to, you know what I mean? So that's why, you know, KRS made the album called Return of the Boom Bap, because it was at a time when he felt like hip hop was getting a little soft and was getting away from that. You know, he was like, okay, we need to bring the boom bap back. You know what I mean? So that's why he said, I'm a boom bap ambassador, track master, hot as Africa sand, moving bodies like a human trafficker. Yo, that shit is dope right there, man. Boom bap ambassador, track master, hot as Africa sand, moving bodies like a human trafficker. You know what I mean? And he means that in the lyrical sense with the moving bodies. You know what I mean? Just like Rakim said, you got to move the crowd. If you're not moving the crowd, you're not really doing your job as an MC. You know what I mean? So in some way, shape, or form, you have to be moving them bodies, moving the crowd. You know what I mean? So I definitely love that about him. And then he said, what I'm stomping to harder than an inmate on a conjugal. You already know what it is with that. You know what I mean? Harder than an inmate on a conjugal visit. You ready to get your shit in. You know what I mean? Launching you like rocket fuel. Live at the barbecue. Yo, Live at the Barbecue, that's a reference to my man Nas and Large Professor and all of those, Akinelli, all of those dudes, because basically that was a pivotal song in hip hop. You know, Main Source consisted of Large Professor, and he did a song called Live at the Barbecue, and he put some dudes on. Akinelli was one of them. He, gained a lot of momentum from that. And then Nas, as you know, one of the greatest MCs we have today, gained a lot of momentum because I think Nas, you know, his verse was so outstanding that everybody was like, yo, we need to hear more from this dude. You know what I mean? So that's why he said Live at the Barbecue. Then he said Rebel Lioness provide a spark for you. And I ain't even digging to my arsenal. He letting you know right there, I haven't even pulled out all my heavy artillery yet. Y'all ain't even ready for it. He said, don't take it personal. You know the biz and you know this is thought. So much force, I'm like Yoda's twin. You know what I mean? So that right there, that's a Star Wars reference. You know what I mean? The Force, may the Force be with you. That's the power that they was using in Star Wars. So that's why he says so much force, I'm like Yoda's twin. Then he said, fire, I break a sweat in the coldest wind. I'm bad news. You gonna know the fire's closest kin. You know what I mean? He comparing himself to fire, saying, by the time I'm finished rhyming, you gonna know I'm the closest thing you got to fire. I'm like a relative to fire. You know what I mean? I'm related. You know what I mean? I'm butane. I'm propane or some shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm the fire's closest kin. So, you know, and that was the end of his verse, you know, and then you hear Zar, Doom, Zar, Doom, Zar, Doom. Yo, this man, that was a classic album. I really think y'all should check out Czarface a little bit more if you're not familiar. They've done a few classic albums. They also did an album with Ghostface called Czarface Meets Ghostface, and that was hot. So please go check that out. You know what I mean? Learn about those people in hip hop who really put it down with the boom bap and try to bring you that raw uncut. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my interpretation of these lyrics. Shout out to Rebel Lioness, aka Inspektah Deck, aka the Wu-Tang General. You know what I mean? And so we're going to get y'all on the next lyrical breakdown. I appreciate y'all listening. Hit me next week, all right? Peace.